Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. This is your girl RHOA. I'm so happy you're here. Oh my god. If you're new to this channel, please do me a favor. Go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. Hit the bell so you know whenever I post a video. This is actually something new and just an updates video because a lot of stuff I think is going to be coming down the pipeline. I'm working on like a lot of stuff right now. So on Monday there'll be a live stream for the squatties. So our little sort of Harry and Meghan fan club slash book club, however you want to call it, little meetup. We'll talk about the next 3 ways that Harry and Meghan are resilient out of the 8 ways that we've marked. I've kind of had to change it up a little bit. It's now basically just like huge categories with little subcategories beneath them because if we tried to do all the ways they were resilient, it would literally be a list of like 50 things. Seriously. Like I've learned so much doing the research in this. We're also going to talk about Real Housewives of Atlanta. I finally finished season 14. Oh my god. Oh my god. So we're going to talk about that. I also started season 15. I know that season 15 is like diffusing live in the US right now, and I have a Hey subscription, but it doesn't seem to post it as fast as the Peacock. So I'm a little bit behind, I think, in what the live is doing. Like for example, I think episode 2 of Real Housewives of Atlanta came out yesterday, but for example, I haven't gotten it. I haven't gotten it in Europe here yet. At least through my Hey subscription. But still, I'm going to talk about some of that. I thought that the sort of feuds between Drew Sidora and Sonya. I can't remember Sonya's last name, but Drew and Sonya was interesting because they kind of started off as friends. A lot of people hate Drew Sidora. I feel like I am in the total minority of. I really like Drew Sidora. Like. Am I just always, I guess maybe I just have an underdog complex or something, but I really like her for one reason, which we'll explore more when we talk about this. You know, I feel like she's one of those faces that we grew up with, not even really knowing it. You know, people want to mark her as a D-list actor, but you know, these people who say stuff like that on Reddit and Twitter and stuff, I really would like to see their list of accomplishments, you know, because if you go and look at her bibliography, she's worked on a lot of stuff, and I'm telling you, she's one of those black faces that have been there really for a long time, you know, like, and That's a Raven, in Step Up, in a lot of movies and things like that. So I want to talk about her. I know that she recently, I think just yesterday or the day before yesterday, her and her husband announced divorce. And I think a lot of Real Housewives fans probably saw that coming. We talked about Real Housewives of Orange County and the releasing of their solo photos and how people were so critical of that. So I do think that Real Housewives fans have a tendency to be like, ultra critical. Especially, I mean, we'll talk about this more. I don't want to just drop this. We're definitely going to explore this more, but in a way that I feel like the men of color on the Housewife franchises, they get a lot. They're held up to some different standards, I think, than the other housewives. You know, for example, there was an article that ranked, you know, all 53 of the Real Housewives husbands, you know, from top to bottom. And, you know, Eddie Judge came in around at like 14 or something like that. And Mauricio Umansky came in at like number 1. And, you know, but I mean, I feel like the closest person of color came in at like number 14 or something like that. So I don't know. Even Greg, which I know Nene and Greg went through this stuff, but Greg is seen as one of the most, I mean, I think he's up there with Mauricio and Ken. So I don't know. We'll talk about that a little bit more, but I definitely wanted to talk about that feud with Drew and Sonya. And I also wanted to talk about Kenya Moore and Marlo, you know, Marlo Hampton. Their feud, I feel like, is really coming from a place of just like similarity. I feel like they both faced a lot of difficulty growing up in the foster care system, and and their childhood issues and stuff like that. I feel like they're very different people at the same time. They're like maybe two sides of the same coin. And the fact that they just keep going head to head and butting heads is, I don't like it. We're also going to talk about at some point, I can't say when, but at some point, Elizabeth Holmes. I want to talk about The Dropout. It was amazing. I want to talk about Elizabeth Holmes of Theranos, and how this woman just gave a bad name to female entrepreneurs everywhere. And her timing was just terrible. It was like in a time where we've already made so many, backpedals in the way of women's equality and women's rights, is like, Elizabeth, girl, why'd you? But we'll get to that. I also want to talk about Richard Dreyfuss. I'm so sorry. In the last video where I was talking about Camilla with those Blackmore statuettes, I talked a little bit about Richard Dreyfuss, but I called him Andy Dreyfuss. Ugh, brain fart. But he made a statement about the Oscars having this new rule where there has to be 30% diversity in the movies that they emit. And, he received backlash from that. So I want to talk about that. And the fact that Hollywood is losing $10 billion a year because they're not accepting diversity. So I heard this statistic on Roland Martin's channel. I want to explore it a little bit further. So I need to do a little bit further research, but in the coming weeks, you'll probably see a video about that because I'm currently looking into it, but that's a whole lot of money, people. Hollywood is losing $10 billion a year because they are not accepting diversity. It just is very, very sad to watch, especially when, we're experiencing such economic problems. People would rather uphold these tenets of essentially white supremacy, misogyny, sexism, and xenophobia instead of, honoring representation of all types of people. So we're going to look into that. Also, we're going to talk about empathy. So I'm going to do some motivational things around empaths. I haven't forgotten about you guys. We'll talk about Gen Z, Disney Channel for Gen Z at some point. We're also going to come back and talk about Trump. I literally had posted so many videos about Trump. And then I'm going to be honest with you. I just got completely inundated with so much Trump content. And he hadn't been arrested. He hadn't there. I mean, like it just, I just was like, okay, I'm going to leave for a minute and then come back when we get some more solidity in this. And now I feel like what we're watching, because a lot of the far right extremists, they come into YouTube channel comments and Twitter comments and Reddit threads and stuff, and they're like, oh, another big scare, Donald Trump is going to go to jail. Donald Trump is going to go to jail. 23rd time that the Democrats have said Donald Trump is going to go to jail. And, on one hand, I feel them on that. Like, why has it taken us so long to bring this man into justice, But at the same time, I feel optimistic and hopeful because I think what we're watching is the slow burning demise of sort of this energy that he, along with the help of some very, very corrupt media outlets, like Fox News, like GB News, like Daily Mail, like I feel like these companies are slowly facing accountability, and people like Donald Trump are slowly facing accountability. And so we're going to come back and we're going to talk about that. But specifically, I want to talk about his allegations with E. Jean Carroll, her winning her case, and basically what this means to the whole thing. I think that Rupert Murdoch's empire is finally coming down. Some developments with, over in the UK with the monarchy, more and more protesters are showing up into royal engagements and things like that. Hopefully more and more people are reading into, the hateful, corrupt UK tabloid media that's basically antagonized and harassed Meghan Markle and Prince Harry for years. There was a recent video, Success Squad video, where it was talking about literally leading up to the coronation. Within the span of like 72 hours, there was like almost 200 articles written about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. And if you hadn't noticed, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have been pretty silent. So um, basically, it's like a monster, the corrupt media. And do not trick yourself into believing that it's not all connected. The corrupt media in the UK, many of those companies are also connected to the media moguls in the US, in Australia. It's just like Rupert Murdoch is not even American. He's not even British, and this man has caused so much havoc. And all for what? For money. But anyway, we'll talk about all this. Just get ready for it. Not yet. But I will be coming with some of these videos over the coming weeks, just letting you know what's coming down the chute. And if you guys have anything that you want me to talk about, any video ideas, any particular subjects that's just like really burning a fire inside of you that you just like, Najwa, please talk about this, please let me know in the comments. And I'll see you guys in the live stream on Monday. And if you're new to this channel, please do me a favor, go ahead and click the like and subscribe button, hit the bell so you know whenever I post video, and I'll see you guys soon. Okay, have a great weekend. Bye. Bye.